Explain the senator himself, Lindsey Graham, Senator.
Thank you. Number one, Ken Martin is a worthless piece of crap. Can you imagine this guy fighting for freedom? To compare President Trump and the Trump regime to the Ayatollah means you got the worst case of Trump derangement syndrome in the world. Go to hell. President Trump is standing with people demanding their freedom. Why are these people in the streets this long? They believe Trump has their back. President Trump said, if they come after you, they got to go through me. If you thought Afghanistan was a debacle, it was. The only thing worse would be to entice people out into the streets against a brutal dictator and pull the plug on them. To anybody at the White House who thinks the Ayatollah would honor a deal to give up his nuclear ambition, you're a fool. Donald Trump is not a fool. These people are out in the streets because they believe in Trump. He's the first president since 1979 to pick the people over the Ayatollah. And the leader of the Democratic Party, you're sick, pal. Where are the Democrats? You cheer on Hamas, who wants to kill the Jews. Now you got people in Iran, like the Crown Prince, who want to be our friend. But because it may happen on Trump's watch, you're belittling the movement. These people are dying by the thousands. We're Americans. You know, if this regime falls, we're safer. We're more prosperous. We'll take down the largest state sponsor of terrorism. Trump is Reagan. He's not Obama. He's not Ken Martin. You know, when Reagan went to the Berlin Wall, he didn't say, do you mind lowering the wall? He said, tear it down. When Trump had to choose between the Ayatollah and the people, he chose the people. The only way to make Iran great again, according to Trump, is for the protesters to prevail. He put a warning to the Ayatollah. If you keep slaughtering these people, I've got their back. Now it's time to make that promise real. No boots on the ground. But this needs to end. And you know what we should do? We should attack the infrastructure that allows the killing to happen. The people in charge of the killing should go. The infrastructure should go. I'm not advocating invading the country, but I am advocating not doing an Afghanistan here.
I can tell you, I know Donald Trump pretty well.
Yeah,
there will be no boots on the ground. There will be no forever wars.
Right.
It will be a surgical strike, and it will stop the slaughter, and it will be effective.
And it needs to happen. Can I just say something? The Crown Prince, I don't know if he needs to be in charge. Let the Iranian people. This is a moment. Like the Berlin Wall.
Well, he said that to me last week. He said, I don't know, it doesn't have to be me. I just want the people to choose.
Yeah, but this is the biggest event in geopolitics since the fall of the Berlin Wall. If we can take the Ayatollah down, who has American blood on his hands, who is the largest state sponsor of terrorism, who funds Hamas and Hezbollah, then we'll have a completely new Mideast, the biggest change in the Mideast in 1,000 years. And if anybody thinks you can negotiate with this guy, you literally are a fool. He's a homicidal religious maniac that wants to kill all the Jews, come after us, and purify Islam. President Trump, this is happening because of you. Venezuela is going to be free because of you. Cuba is next because of you. But the biggest prize on your watch is going to be the demise of the Iranian state led by the Ayatollah, a brutal religious Nazi dictator. And he's either going to be dead or in Moscow. Stand behind the people, President Trump. Stand up, stand behind him, fulfill your promise, and you'll go down in history, Ronald Reagan plus.
Senator Lindsey Graham, thank you.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.